there, listeners. Thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So today we're going to be talking about Wingbearer. It is a middle grade debut by best-selling author Marjorie Liu. So this is her entrance into middle grade. And not only that, it is a graphic novel, and it is Sakanian's debut as an artist. And I have to say, hopefully I pronounced their last name right, but I do have to say the artwork here is absolutely beautiful. Let me start with that. If you're looking for a good way to get your kid into reading, sometimes the best way is to start with comics or graphic novels, and then they can, gravitate towards, written words. For me, it was kind of the opposite. I went for storybooks first, and then I went to comics and graphic novels. But I think, any way that you can get your kid to read is stellar. And I think Wingbearer really is good at that, because the artwork here in this novel is quite beautiful. It is really breathtaking to see the story just kind of unfold for the reader. I'm sorry. I've been very congested lately, so my throat's kind of sore with all the coughing I've been doing. But like I said, the artwork here is absolutely astonishing. I love the take on the bird spirit. So the story follows Zuli. She lives in the great tree with all the bird spirits. So the great tree is kind of like the tree of life. You're in this mystical realm, and it's only birds. Well, it's not only birds. There are other critters there, but it's mostly birds. It is the haven for the birds' souls. When they die in the real world, their soul turns into a leaf on the great tree, and when they're ready to be reborn again, that leaf kind of flitters out of this realm. I love the artwork for the tree spirits. It's so beautiful, and add to the high gloss of the pages, I think it really is eye-catching. They really do stand apart. They're almost like phoenixes in a way in the artwork, and I'm pretty sure that's probably on purpose, because phoenix, it is that mythological creature of a bird that is born from its own ashes. So I think it is very beautiful to see the spirits of the birds, kind of brought to life in this fashion. And I love Zuli too. I do love that she is a person of color. She looks, she is African American in my opinion, and I think it's great how the artwork, facial expressions are always hard to do. Facial expressions are hard, but I think the artwork here is so well done. You really do capture Zuli's joy. You really do capture her heart, her passion, her hope, her fear, all in the slightest shading of her eyes. And I think that that's really incredible. Again, you're pulling in the reader, young and old, and I think it really was a beautiful debut on the artwork, especially in those scenes where the tone gets a little bit more serious, a little bit more somber, maybe even a little dark. There is still something to light the pages. There's still this spark of hope indicated in the artwork, and I thought that was very clever. And I think it really did, do a good job of capturing what Lou was working hard to create here. A lot of times graphic artists and writers, sometimes like Joe Benitez, he is one of those that tends to do his own artwork for his stories. I love his artwork. Lady Mechanica is amazing, by the way. And I do love that there is this camaraderie usually between the artist and the writer. They do have to work together in order to capture what the story is telling you. And in this case, it worked out very well. In case you can't hear her, I am joined today by my 3-month-old daughter. Can't believe she's already 3 months. And I think Lou did a really good job with the storytelling. There's a really good flow. There's a really good momentum in the storytelling. Again, you are getting a lot of personality from, Zulia as a character. You're seeing her sadness, you're seeing her hope, you're seeing her love. And again, graphic novels, they tend to be very short. And you're doing the story in frames. It's completely different from a regular traditional novel. And in order for graphic novels to really have an impact on the reader, you have to use your frames wisely. And this is another reason why I think the artwork and the story and the writing go hand in hand, because the artwork would otherwise capture like your third person narrative or first person narrative outside of dialogue, because usually the bubbles, you don't really hear what's going on in the characters' heads when it comes to graphic novels. You don't really have a lot of space to do that. And you don't want to use up all your bubble space to do that. Like I was saying, you don't want to use all of your frame space using the bubbles, the thought bubbles and the dialogue bubbles, because then you're just kind of taking away from the artwork. So the writing has to be concise, it has to be impactful, and it has to work with the artwork in order to convey emotion. And I think the team here did a really good job. Again, we're getting to know Zulia as a character, and you really do feel for her. She is kind of alone in the world, and she doesn't want to be alone in the world. That's what makes her so sad. But she loves her bird family. She loves all the birds that raised her from when she was an infant. Hi. She does love them, and that's why she has to leave them, because she needs to find out what's happening to all the souls of the bird. She knows that somewhere in the world something bad is happening, and so she embarks on this great adventure, and she meets a lot of fun characters. You've got the goblin, you have the old blind dragon, who's pretty hilarious, and then you have the seasoned warrior who she freed from brainwashing, who, by the way, rides a snake, and then a giant snake, and then you have griffins. You have such a wonderful cast of characters here to carry the story forward and to create a wonderful momentum. And the story itself does leave off on kind of a cliffhanger. As it's a graphic novel series, first in a series. It really is quite wonderful. It is imaginative. It is thoughtful. It does have a lot of really rich themes to it. So I do think Wingbearer really is worth the read. I'm gonna have to give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was a really good novel. I thoroughly, if your kid is struggling, to like reading, try graphic novels, and Wingbearer is definitely one to try. So on that note, I hope you all will support the author by purchasing the book from your local bookseller or online book retailer. I just ask that you support your bookstores versus purchasing off of Amazon. You can purchase the book from your local independently owned bookstore via bookshop.org or barnesandnoble.com. I hear this a lot of times at work. Oh, well, there's not a Barnes & Noble near me. Yeah, but we have barnesandnoble.com. You can purchase the book off of barnesandnoble.com. If you're wondering, why the book's cheaper on Amazon, it's because the publisher has an agreement with Amazon to sell them at a discounted rate. But by doing that, they are undercutting the author's payment depending on the contract. So standard contract is 10% of all the proceeds. It's not a lot. So unless, please support your author by purchasing from a bookseller. And if money is really tight and you want to save money, check out your local library. Libraries are a really great resource for the community. And they deserve everything that they can get. And I hope you all will continue to support me by liking this podcast and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me Coffee by purchasing one of my handmade candles or by making a small donation via PayPal. I have information on that in the link in the description. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.